Okay. Hello everyone.
Resident Evil.
This is my no save no death run of visible enemy mode in Resident Evil HD Remaster as Chris. And this is also being played on the PlayStation 4, which you could obviously see here, of course. Case in point. So, same as per usual, just gonna scoot around here, just go ahead and activate the cutscene and get it over with. See the zombie, he's like not invisible, he's actually invisible, but actually he's invisible, but you can see him obviously, so yeah. Pretty much just have to get back to the main hall and we can start the run. Okay, so alright. So, visible enemy mode is a difficulty in Resident Evil, pretty much. If you have not seen my Jill run, which I'm obviously sure that you probably did, but, however, invisible enemy mode is a difficulty in Resident Evil where every enemy is invisible. So, pretty much, like I said last time with Jill, the activities don't really matter, pretty much, on certain things. Like dust kicking up and you seeing drool, seeing everything else like that. So yeah, pretty much just like every enemy is just straight up invisible pretty much, but just certain activity events doesn't really count. That's about it. That's straight about it. Just that's it. But however, it's played on normal mode, so on normal mode you can get away with some things. But if you're playing on hardcore, then, you know, this is obviously not going to be the best walkthrough to follow, specifically because we get those handgun bullets right off the bat. So, yeah. But, you know, normally what I do here is I just straight up shoot this zombie here, like I do with Jill, normally, and, go ahead and get rid of him, because he could just straight up be a problem. So I have to check if there's blood coming out of the ground, and there goes the blood. And of course, like an asshole, this guy decided to aggro. So normally, well, actually he didn't aggro, but normally what I do is basically I grab the handgun bullets quickly as possible, and then, I just straight up leave the area normally. But, in general, advisable is that, it is basically more safer to just straight up not bother fighting the zombie, and just straight up leaving the area. Just to save ammo. It's just better to just straight up leave and not bother attacking him. Because, you know, that guy would get directly in your way, of course, so you don't want him to just straight up... You know, you could just take the long way around, you could just avoid him. But I did that basically just so I can get that dagger early, so by getting that dagger early, I can just straight up, have safety nets equipped, just in case. Case in point. And then for, you know, just gonna get back to the graveyard. So, for the graveyard, a safety net normally to do here with the graveyard session is that, you know, normally what I do here is I just straight up kill one zombie, but because I got too ballsy, I decided to go on ahead and just try to shoot one more zombie. It's just one zombie, it's just worth killing, and that's about it. And the second one is just not needed to kill. Specifically because of the fact that, killing one zombie is just only advisable, that's about it. But killing a second one is not even needed, basically. I just did that so I can get shotgun shells a lot early, basically, even though I didn't need it to. Because there's more shotgun shells you can get later on in the future, so there's no point in doing that. But, I just did that anyway because, well, I thought it would get a little ballsy there, so that was why. But, But in general, for invisible enemy mode, in order to unlock it, you have to beat the game on real survivor mode in order to unlock it. And also, there's no auto aim on visible enemy mode and real survival, so pretty much it's not that difficult to learn how to play without auto aim, but it gets sometimes difficult, I guess, some of the time, but not really. Also doing some stair skating right here. On the stairs. Just hold up on the D-pad and just smash the running button, basically. Same as Priush. Scooting around there. Hit all the way back to the area where we encounter our first zombie. Okay, for the zombie here, I go ahead and just straight up kill his ass, pretty much, get him out of the way. Pretty much just get rid of him, basically. It doesn't matter or not if he comes back as a Crimson Head, because I'm not gonna be, like, dilly-dallying around with the area here, so by the time I come back through here later on in the future, even if he does come back as a Crimson Head, I'm not gonna really care so much, because, you know, I have backup strats anyway for that guy if he comes back as a Crimson Head. So, I can basically, especially on Mansion 2, I can just straight up not even bother having to deal with him. I can just straight up avoid him overall. And if I have to kill him, then, you know, it's only, like, gonna be for, like, moments, like, where close space areas, da-da-da-da-da, you know, some of that point and source. So, I don't always have to deal with that guy so much. He's not gonna be a problem, especially after Mansion 2, because we don't have to backtrack here ever again in Mansion 2. So basically, you gotta go downstairs to the basement to go get the old key. Going to scoot around here, pass around these guys, not even gonna worry about the one on the ground. We needed to go here so we can get the old key so we can go get the shotgun. The shotgun, the broken shotgun, in order to proceed on in the game, because the game actually literally at this point forces you to go kill dogs with a shotgun. So if you don't get the shotgun, then we're fucked, and we're fucking screwed. So that's why. But yeah, Invisible Enemy Mode is not a mod. It is like a literary difficulty in the main game. This is played on a PlayStation 4. I didn't jailbreak my console yet, so it's like not even something that I have just jailbreak at all yet. So it's like not a mod. It's just literally a difficulty in the game. So basically, for Chris, you know, because he has to be forced to pick up old keys, so, you know, we can't really go too freely on certain item routes, like Showcast, for options for enemies. Chris only gets a Magnum and a shotgun, and that's it. So, yeah. And, of course, that zombie there on the stairs. Zombies only throw up on the stairs, by the way, so that's it. They just straight up do that. You can't really, whenever they throw up on stairs, you can simply just pass around them, so, you know, we're good to go. But that zombie there on the stairs, his positions normally change after we basically go on ahead and just straight up pick up the shotgun here. Like, sometimes he'll just straight up, like, out of nowhere, after we go into the save room here, he'll just straight up, like, turn around and just straight up, follow you the other side away instead of him going on the stairs. So, we have to keep that in mind after we come out the save room. We're just gonna drop the handgun, shotgun, even though we didn't even drop the handgun actually, not realizing it, because we were actually gonna need the handgun anyway, because we were gonna pick it up, but whatever, just putting all those items and supplies away anyway. So honestly right here, I just hope the best he just goes onto the stairs. If he doesn't go onto the stairs, I'd rather him grab me from the front, because I can counter him with a dagger. So it's better off of him throwing up on the stairs, if not possible. Pretty much. And that zombie there, he changes his position after you go grab the shotgun. Well, actually, no. After you just straight up unlock that door, he just straight up morphs all the way over there immediately. So he teleports. And basically, you know, you just gotta take a long way around that guy from now on, and you gotta have better memory muscle. I only got grabbed by that guy only probably, like, I should say, like, me trying to forget about that probably once, I guess, in invisible enemy mode, but that's probably about it. Otherwise, he's not needed to deal with, so, you know, you just take a long way around that guy. Because it's not a speed run anyway, so I don't actually have to dodge him. Also, I'm going to be editing doors, so obviously I'm going to be skipping some of the doors, basically some of them, but I'm going to be editing half of them, so obviously the setup here, you might be wondering, like, if I'm playing on console, then why is, like, the doors being skipped? Because I'm just editing the video. Because nobody's going to want to watch, like, me not talking for, like, that type of seconds or so. If I'm, like, talking during the door, I'm not going to edit it, so... So, like, if I'm not talking, then, like, while the door animation's going on, I'm just editing it. That's basically straight up it. Anyhow. Alright, so, basically, just coming through here, just gotta get all this area done on the first pass, so we can grab, so we just grab the old key and stuff like that, go get everything done. As long as we're just not backtracking, we're good to go for this area. Same thing goes for every other area. That's about it. Because otherwise, you run the risk of just straight up fucking up with a lot of backtracking you have to do. And you run the risk of dying a lot. A whole lot. Such as this area, for especially pauses. Green herb. Chemical. Red herb. Pick that up. Then we can just straight up leave. Not come back here ever again. You don't even have to burn zombies like that, as Chris. Because he's not literal, he has to burn them. Not actually sure if I actually did have to burn zombies in this run, but anyhow. More daggers, and we're gonna grab the shotgun here, and we're gonna replace it with the broken shotgun. And by replacing it with the broken shotgun, we'll just get a free shotgun, and we're good to go. Safety as that. And just by doing that, we can just avoid coming to this area ever again, like literally ever again, because hunters will crowd this area in the future. So, and zombies, and it's a clusterfuck trying to grab that shotgun there. So. Just doing that actually on the first pass to let sleepy dogs lie, so yeah. Alright, so the zombie's up right here. Normally what I do here in order to get around him is I try to get him on the stairs so he can throw up. And when he like throws up on the stairs and stuff, I can try to know where he's at as I'm wiggling the analog stick to get him to throw up. And as long as I'm fast enough, I can avoid damage from that guy. And if I'm careful enough, it could be better safety nets for that sequence there. I could have shot him, but I'd rather save my crit rate for my first shotgun blast for a zombie, basically. Because the first shotgun you get, basically, no matter what, in the mansion, especially with Richard, so shotgun will always crit rot, and it will always have a decapitation rate. So because it will always decapitate 100% of the time, you want to just make sure that it just straight up decapitates. Like always decapitates. So, pretty much. So, just the first shotgun blast you blast at a zombie head and stuff like that, it will always decapitate the zombie, no matter what. Always trustworthy for it to decapitate. So yeah. Alright, so coming up here, just going to... because this guy, He's quite of a pain in the ass. He is kind of easy to dodge around, but he can follow you through this room here, and I'd rather get rid of him. If so not, then he's just gonna straight up cock block my way as I'm going on ahead and decapitating these, well, getting rid of these guys. That's what I saved that first shotgun blast for, just to get rid of that guy. Probably should have saved for the second guy, but I'm just gonna be using handgun bullets on him, basically, overall, no matter what, so, yeah. And Chris gets a free lighter, so, you know, it's like, you don't have to pick it up as Jill on the table and stuff like that in that source, so, basically, we're good to go. We don't actually have to pick them up on the table, so, it's a free item, so you can burn zombies as much as, like, you want without having to remember to go up to the item box to go pick up the, lighter. So, kind of unique as Chris, because that changes. And because I got a crit rate on this guy, I don't actually have to worry about him so much no more. I don't actually have to go on ahead and burn a zombie. If you burn a zombie, basically, or you use Jill's incendiary grenades, you can just prevent them from coming back as crimson heads. As Chris, you're going to always want to rely on that decap. That decapero cap, or whatever, pretty much. Just rely on that decap. And by relying on that decap, you can just straight up get that zombie. Just like, you can get, like, zombies just get out of your way as Chris. In order to prevent them coming back as crimson heads, because he doesn't get a locker launcher, just like Jill does. But, he just gets, magnum and a shotgun and a handgun. He doesn't have so much enemy-wise resources. Taking a med spray for the dogs, just gonna ignore the zombie, same as per usual. You can kill him if you want, but, you know, I wouldn't really recommend it. He's pretty easy to dodge around, so we don't have to worry about him, ever. Same thing goes for the second guy. So because we decapitate these guys, we just straight up can scoot right by here. Didn't even need to burn any zombies at all, as Chris. Good. But I had to go back to the item box to go get a med spray and get the shotgun shells, so I can go kill the dogs. Really, I should have just never picked up those shotgun shells if possible, because I was not going to need them at all. Because it was just going to be usable to use the blue jewel that I got downstairs. So dogs, in general, what I do here for invisible enemy mode for dogs is that, well, I just use my main strats like I'd use in the main game as Chris. So what I do here is I aim, like, in a perfect position in order to get the dog here. So this has to be a very perfect position. And when you see the lighter coming around the corner, which is actually the collar itself of the dog, that it's a dog. And by doing that, we can just blast him in his head when he pops around the corner. Just don't stand too close to the corner, or else he'll jump on top of you. And we'll just straight up kill that dog right off the bat. Basically, just straight up get rid of him anyway. And what I did is I ran out the room just so I can basically, after I kill that dog, well, after I down him, I rushed up to them to shoot it again with a second shotgun shell. But actually, after I down him, after I kill him, I ran out of the room just so I can reset the other zombie's position. I mean, the other dog's position. Because by resetting the room, if you're fast enough to reset the room, you can just straight up prevent that other dog from getting close to you. Because the second you pick up that collar, it'll take 5 seconds of animation, and you'll just straight up just get cheesed by that fucking asshole of a dog that just tried to jump on top of you a lot sometimes. That second dog catches up to you way too quickly, so it's like, you know, might as well reset the room just to prevent RNG to get into the way so easily. So, yeah, just did that. Taking the long way around just so I can avoid one more zombie in one of the F-shaped hallways. No point in dodging him, just straight up go the long way around so we can play it safer. Should have probably did this on hard mode, now realizing it. Probably would have been like a little bit more funner. But anyhow. But anyhow, so the Crimson Head, just ignore him. He's just gonna straight up do that a lot, so he does that. He just straight up gets up and tries to scare you, so don't even worry about him. We're not going to worry about him ever again. In a speedrun, you have to dodge those guys out there in the hallway, but, you know, you know, because it's a walkthrough. Because the consistency of this walkthrough is called for no deaths. That is a dumb idea. They just go outside and get your ass clusterfucked, so we're just gonna not bother going out there and confronting the Crimson Head and dodging the zombies out there. So, let sleeping dogs lie, pretty much, overall. But, also, I should mention that invisible enemy mode, as far as that I've gotten from it, you know, it's not too terribly difficult to complete, pretty much, on, like, certain distance, basically, however, on, like, certain, like, counters, it's not too terribly difficult to complete. It's like, if you got things down to a science where you already know your game more, basically, like, you know your game on your rhythm base. Like, enemies in invisible enemy mode, they're the exact same like they are in the main game. So, any enemy that you have seen on the main game that was just straight up there will be there, like, on your difficulty the way you choose it. So, because, like, enemies on invisible enemy mode are, like, put in the exact same place they were put in the main game, and they're not put in randomized places like you could see in Resident Evil 3. Like, they're not like that. They're just straight up, like, in the exact same positions. So if you got things down to a science where you know how to fight your boss battles and fight any enemy in general, you know, you're good to go. Not actually have to worry so much. But there's, like, a couple of counters that can fuck over no deaths for invisible enemy mode. Because I'm going for best ending, Super Tyrant is... Well, I probably shouldn't say Lisa, but Super Tyrant is one of them that causes things to get insanely worse a little bit. Just a snitch at worseness. Because I think I lost my runs to Super Tyrant, like, a lot of times in invisible enemy mode. But, anyhow, we'll get to that in a little bit later on in the future when we get there. But, you know, just to straight up in general, basically the way I go for my routes is that I get things done on the first pass, and just straight up don't backtrack. You know, just the reason why you just normally don't even see me get grabbed is just because I do a lot of avoiding, not dodging. If I was going to be doing, if this was a speed run, I would have just been darting through these rooms like goddamn the Flash and shit. Just dodging through all these enemies. Which, all the enemies in Resident Evil are kind of actually annoying to dodge, so, you know, not really easy to dodge them, so you can't really, like, get around dodging. But in a no-death run, just obviously there's not going to be really moments where I have to dodge so much, overall. Because all I do is just avoiding, that's it. Like all I do is avoiding. And if there is a dodge that I do in a speedrun, then it has to be the most easiest dodge ever, basically. So overall, like, if it's not an easy dodge, then I'm just gonna straight up kill them, or I'm just gonna take the long way around. Because it's like a whole entire circle or something, I guess I should say. The way the routes in this game works is that it's like a circle, amazing circle where you can route out anywhere you go. So no matter where you go, there's no end to it. So because there's no end to it, it's not linear. It's more consistent and more funner. So pretty much that's like the way this consistency goes for it. So if you got things, so basically that's just the way I route my runs in general for all consistency. So yeah. Okay, well, after that, we're just gonna go ahead and go grab that box there and just straight up, go all the way up here and go start to cut and go get the serum for Richard. So for Richard, Richard could be saved by, in less than, like, 5 minutes or so for Chris, I guess. I'm not actually sure the time. I keep getting told that the time difference for Jill is 4 minutes, and for Chris it's like normally like 5 minutes or so. So the time difference are different on certain encounters for character. So I think for Chris it takes like 5 minutes to go get the serum for Richard. So so for Richard, pretty much it just takes like 5 minutes, I guess, or so for Chris. All I just know is that you just gotta get the serum in time for Chris. I mean, for Richard, pretty much. Like, if you're fast enough, you can just straight up avoid breaking the timer record or something like that. And Richard won't die. But, however, I can do all this fast enough and just still save Richard, so, you know, you don't even have to use door skip. There's no point of using door skip, basically, anyway, because it's just still fast enough to do this in time, so, anyhow. Coming right over here. Zom's gonna bust out of that door. Alright, so this is how things can get a little tricky. We're gonna go ahead and knock down that Zom there, right over there by the stairs. Gotta be careful a little bit on how we're gonna gauge his distance. I probably should have killed him earlier with the handgun, but I kinda actually lost contact of the memory muscle on that. I guess, the way I did with this run, but however, still, we're gonna just straight up kill him because he just respawns in different positions that you don't want him to be in order for him to cheese you, or so. So basically, I just go on ahead and just straight up get rid of that guy by shooting him in his head. Not in his leg, because if you shoot him in his leg, he's going to respawn. Like, he literally will respawn. So, basically, because, like, leg shots don't kill zombies, I wanted to kill that guy because I'm not coming back for that area like that ever again, so it's, like, not even going to be worth worrying about, worthwhile. So I went out and just straight up did headshots on a guy in the stairs. So I got the good pattern, he was on the stairs that time. If he's not by the stairs, then what would have happened is he would have probably been near the safe room, and I would have probably risked getting hit by that guy from the back grab. I mean, I would have still countered with a dagger, but if he would have back grabbed me, it would have probably been a little bit more worse, basically, to gauge distance. And I would have probably lost a little bit more time trying to figure out where he is, just to get back to Richard, pretty much. So that guy's like a quite pain in the ass. But anyhow. Alright, so after we get the serum for Richard from the west side save room, just gonna go back here, make sure we have the chemical plant in our inventory. Trade that with that spray for the chemical plant, if I didn't mention that. But anyhow, get back here, da-da-da-da, cutscene, sha-da-sha. Or whatever. Because I killed that zombie on the stairs, I can just straight up take this way. Or to avoid him. I mean, or order to avoid the other one upstairs. Because I killed that guy, and I can just straight up go this way instead. And just straight up finish out the mansion after I give the Richard the medicine. We're not going back to that area ever again, pretty much. We don't have to visit that area until Mansion 2. So if that guy comes out because it's a Crimson Head, we don't even have to worry about him. Because all we're just gonna straight up do is just make sure we do not get poisoned by Yawn. That's like the only thing we have to worry about going back to that area. So, yeah, pretty much. Alright. We have to go grab the old key here so we can get the Magnum. But we gotta get rid of these zombies first. Gotta kill this guy before he disappears. And but the other guy, is gonna be in a little bit of a tough position to predict where he is. So I actually have to predict. I gotta actually predict a little bit on where he's gonna be at, so I can like tell where he's gonna be at, kinda actually. But normally I use the speedrun strat in this room, but because sometimes that can be a bit of a pain in the ass on a visible enemy mode, I generally go for the consistency and just try to kill those guys. And I've lost like a couple runs, I guess, to those guys a little bit. So it's kind of actually better that I'm doing. Kind of actually better that this is a no death run and I can just straight up kill those guys to get some mercy and revenge. You know, same old revenge. Spare no mercy for the enemies I hate. You know me. But we're gonna put the death mask in the graveyard. I always put the death mask for Chris in the graveyards a lot early because doing it early basically just helps out for the consistency of not visiting the item box so much. I know generally a lot of people like to just straight up just keep them in your inventory, but if you could just go to the graveyard and put them there early, there's no point of like bothering with any consistency of just like having that in your inventory, because all it just does is just chokes up so many inventory slots. And I would not want to waste ammo, just straight up just getting rid of that, anyhow. But anyhow, alright, so for the zombies on here, we're gonna go ahead and kill him, decapitate him. Doesn't matter if he grabs me or not, because all I want to do is just straight up get rid of him. By the time we get this area done, he's not even gonna be a Crimson Head anyway. And even if he is, like, normally what I just straight up do is just straight up try to ignore him fast as possible. Or try to kill him if he gets in the way, anyway. So that's, like, what I normally have to do. Just to only get around him, basically. But he never really comes back to his Crimson Head if I get this area done quicker if possible. And for that guy, you know, after we use the lighter, we're just gonna grab the musical scores and just straight up leave, just attacker, just get around him. And plus he despawns immediately after I go fight Yawn anyway. So after I go start the cutscene with Yawn, he's going to despawn immediately after I grab the death mask. So he's going to be completely out of the way. And also that zombie right there, because Richard's in the infirmary room, he's there. So you don't have to worry about him. Just scoot right by his collision box pretty much, and that's it. I mean, scoot right by him, pretty much, by taking the long corners. Speed did matter, by the way. There was a lot of bad time losses in this run. You would think this was a speed run for some reason, but like I said, it's not. I know I keep repeating it, but people sometimes keep thinking that. There was a lot of bad time losses anyway in this run, so it wouldn't really, like if you were just gonna try to think that this was a speed run, try to follow it as a speed run walkthrough, pretty much, it would pretty much look bad on world records and like any percent strategies, the way they go with it, so. Especially this, putting the death mask here a lot early when you're not pretty much supposed to. Alright, but on top of that, enough of talking about speedruns. Alright, back to the gameplay. Just putting that death mask there so we can just straight up going on ahead and going back all the way over here so we can straight up get around this guy. Couldn't tell if he was a Crimson Head already, but he didn't start running towards me, so he's out of my way pretty much, so I could just straight up get around him. So we're gonna pick up the death mask. I mean, we're gonna pick up the musical scores, and then we're gonna go all the way over here, and then we're going to just combine them and just say yes to Rebecca, pretty much. Blah blah blah. And then after that, we could just straight up leave. But normally, like I do with the zombie, if he comes back as a Crimson Head, is that normally when I shoot him, basically, he normally takes hit stun, but when I do, like, leg shots, it normally has a higher chance of downing him, so basically, it doesn't really matter if he, like, tries to attack or not. He's just gonna straight up get downed by my shotgun shells. Better off him getting downed by the shotgun shells, if not. I just go ahead and down him with the shotgun shells by aiming downwards to do a leg shot. Then I just go straight back out to the main hall, because we gotta go back to the main hall in order to get Rebecca, in order to skip the cutscene sequence with Rebecca playing the piano for so long. Same as usual. And then we're just gonna go make sure we have the crown stone, the blue jewel, and then we could just straight up go all the way back over here. Go get some shotgun shells out of here. But we had to go to the main hall in order to reset Rebecca to be finished with the radio. I mean, be finished with the piano playing. So you can get that over with. Also, happy October, by the way. So by using the blue jewel, we can just use that so we can get some shotgun shells. Then after that, you can just straight up scoot right by this guy here. You're gonna always just hug the wall and stuff like that in order to not run him. So don't even worry about him.
Chris! Chris!
Well, it seems like I actually killed that guy at that time. Okay. Well, that's actually interesting. I didn't think I was gonna kill him that time. But, anyhow. Just normally what I just do is I do leg shots on that guy in order to down him. That's basically it. Simple as that in order to get around him. If he does come back as Crimson Head. So, yeah. So for Jan, we have to go to the, of course, like, messed up on this puzzle here. Basically solving it. But, however, for Jan, we have to go all the way back to the, we have to go fight Jan now, pretty much. Jan is pretty easy to deal with, though, as Chris. Chris has a better luxury, I guess, a little bit with Jan, but, not really for Jill. scooting around that guy again. Then we can go fight Yon, but... You know, like I said, the guy's, like, not even a Crimson Head, so don't have to worry about him. Straight up do avoiding, like I said. Straight up avoid. Don't bother console flipping with them, pretty much, on backtracking. Simple as that. So for Yon here, Yon is pretty easy to get around here, so all we have to do is just grab the Death Mask, and we can just scoot around Yon here, pretty much, and just leave. It normally never likes to attack so early, quickly. It's like, normally when its head is like raised to the bottom, it doesn't always like attack so quickly. It's normally likes to leave, pretty much. It doesn't really like, do too much. Just straight up grab the Death Mask and just straight up leave. I went on ahead and just straight up throw a hand grenade at that Zamzam's mouth so I can get him out of the way for later on. Because he will follow me through this room here and try to come back as a try to block me as I'm fighting, trying to go to the Rebecca room, because he actually shifts places. The reason why I just got rid of all the zombies in the east side is just because I don't want them to get in the way as I'm going to save Rebecca later on anyway. So, like, you know, that guy, like, normally all of them just like to shift and morph towards that door where Rebecca, I have to go see Rebecca later on, so that's why I normally like to kill those guys. Straight up get them out of the way, because, you know, they're just straight up worth killing at that point. If I'm gonna have to deal with them a lot as Rebecca. I mean, as I'm trying to save Rebecca, so, yeah. I think I should explain a little bit more about hand grenade mechanics. Okay, so the way the hand grenade mechanics work, so the way the gun ammunitions work in this game is that for decapitation, so whatever gun has a higher crit rate is a stronger gun. So, alright, how should I say this? Barry's Magnum has a 9 out of 10. The Magnum you get in the Graveyard has a 8 out of 10. The Assault Shotgun you get from Richard has a 7 out of 10. And pretty much the shotgun you just get normally right now in the mansion is like a 5 out of 10. And the handgun that Chris got is a 2 out of 10. Jill's handgun is a 1 out of 10. The hand grenades are always 100% a decapitation rate, so it'll decapitate 100% of the time. I decided to just go on ahead and sacrifice some daggers just to get around that guy. Just to dodge around him. Up so. Alright. So we're gonna pick us up a Stingy Boy out of this room here. Now that we use the old key on that door, we can grab the Magnum here. Well, grab the pieces for the Magnum, and then we're going to pick up the yellow Stingy Boy and just straight up combine the yellow hook together. Grab the brown bee, put the yellow hook on the wall, put the brown bee right here, same as usual, and I don't know what fish that just jumps out of water just to attack bees. I have no idea. Anyhow. Pick up the Windcrest, and we're out of here. But we could just go here first. I mean, here second. Got the old key, picking that up as well too. Spread this green herb there. Bind up with the red herb if you want, so you can get more, so you can get some health for Order Crimson Head. Picking up the old key as well too. Then on the way back, basically if I use a defense item on this guy, I just normally hug the wall in order to dodge him. I can dodge around that guy, I'd say like about probably like 40% of the time. I guess I should say. The only time I have to worry about him grabbing me is if he back grabs me. If he back grabs me, then I'm more likely to have a chance of dying. I mean, have a chance of just being on danger caution immediately there. But we're gonna go back to the save room there. Some shotgun shells we can just pick up. Scoot around that zom right there by the save room. Then we could just straight up leave. Don't even have to visit the item box. We already got every health we have. Zom there. Don't have to worry about him either because that's his last position to go towards. So we're pretty much done. For that matter, to worry about him. But we don't have to worry about that guy. Same thing goes for the guy over there in the corner. We only have to kill him basically, though. But no worries of issues. Basically, if we still have enough ammo after the Order Crimson Head fight. But so for Order Crimson Head, I kind of had a little bit of trouble figuring out any strategies that work for him. Because Order Crimson Head is quite a struggle of a boss for Chris, actually, on the legendary that Chris has. So basically, Chris, because we have to use the shotgun here, it's gonna be a lot tough, the way I found. All I know is that Lex shots are very recommended to do for Order Crimson Head, but you know, sometimes they don't always work. Normally the shotgun, if you aim downwards at his legs, downs him once, but it's pretty luck-based on the way it goes here. So you gotta get super scary lucky. This could be a quite scary fight, a little bit. Causing you to run around and loop. But you can see the smoke there, though. If you get lucky and down him, get him right there on that shot there, but when he starts moving, that's the problem there. Where you gotta get, like, lucky as hell on hitting him, pretty much. Of course, he got me that time, so I couldn't really figure out any realization how I was gonna get him there in time. So I got a little bit less lucky, I guess. I didn't really get hit so much, but that was actually, like, quite luck that I managed to not die there. Managed to down him like literally like 3 or 4 shots or so. Pretty much you can exit out of the mansion now. Pretty much we're done here. Some shotgun shells there. Hand grenade. There's some med spray. As well too, we can pick that up if you want. So for the red cock, I meant rooster, we'll be going west. And the blue cock, I meant rooster, will be going north, pretty much. So for the birds, in the past, I killed the birds here a lot, but in my recent runs here, you know, what I do here instead is I just go ahead and kill, don't bother killing the birds. Because I actually found out that you can actually walk around these birds as long as you're not actually getting way too close in some stores. So, as long as you're not close to them, you won't actually have to worry about aggroing the birds. As long as I'm just paying attention to the screen, I don't actually have to aggro them. So we can get the Magnum in peace here. When I get to like the middle of the crest here, that's when I start running. So for Lisa here, normally a safer strategy is just to straight up not equip the Magnum. I mean, it's just to straight up not not to bother equipping the shotgun here, because all we need to do is just equip the Magnum and we're safe. But because I once again got ballsier here, I actually equipped the shotgun instead. I should have never equipped the shotgun here because sometimes Lisa likes to just straight up. She is possible to knock down with 2 shotgun shells, but sometimes she might take another shotgun shell to cause its stun on her. But I got lucky here and I got her on that second shot. Alright, so for the dogs, they spawn after the cutscene ends. So what I do here is after the cutscene, I aim at that dog right there, at that corner. Or to cheese that first dog there. Because I'll get his distance, and if I back up too much far away, then I would just basically miss the shot. Long story short. Then after that, you know, obviously pay attention to the drool. When you see the drool, that is basically where you can protect the dogs. Because if you, like I said, there's activity going on in visible enemy mode. So if you can see drool, you know, blatantly, obviously, you're going to be able to see it, and you're going to be able to protect it. So by doing that, we can get those dogs right there. They're not going to jump at us. Basically, sometimes one of them will just randomly jump, but if we're fast enough, like the second we see the drool, the second we're fast enough to get it, the quicker the better. But yeah, sometimes one of them will just jump in the air and just attack you immediately and jump on top of you as you're about to blast a mac around at them. So, you know, you gotta be like quite aware about that. But the second you see the drool, obviously, just start. Dogs in this game, personally, I think they're like more worse than hunters in this game. Because they're quite aggravating as fuck to fight. And quite terribly programmed. So normally what I do here for the spider, though, is that if I'm fast enough, basically I could just straight up grab the red book and the shotgun shells and get out of here quickly as possible. Unfortunately, sometimes. But sometimes, like an asshole, the spider likes to just jump off the wall and like hit you around the corner or splat acid, and you'll get poisoned. And you won't be able to dodge it. So it's kind of luck. So you gotta be ready for it, pretty much. But normally if I get poisoned there, that's basically what that red herb is for. Just straight up subvert the poison. In order to prevent it from poisoning even more, pretty much from it killing me. So, after I grab the key here, basically I stand right by the table here, so when the zombie grabs me, I can just throw a hand grenade in its mouth instantly. Because sometimes that zombie likes to just straight up runs right around you, basically, sometimes, and tries to do a back grab. Just hugging the wall pretty much as much as I can. Because the zombies in this game, on Invisible Enemy Mode, can actually know they actually are programmed to know they are actually invisible themselves. So they actually will know that you can't see them, obviously. So because they know that you can't see them, that means that they're going to do their best to try to do back routes if you're going to try to make way or you're about to use a defense item. That's basically, I'm not gonna lie, a unique kind of mechanic that they gave to the enemies, basically invisible enemy mode. So the enemies just instantly knows that they're always going to be invisible, pretty much. The where the AI attention goes for them, so kind of actually unique and creative as hell, actually, to think about that. Blue herbs here, picking these up. Need this to subvert Chris if he gets poison. Pretty sure I didn't get poisoned, probably not one bit at all during this walkthrough, but still pick them anyway because it's the safest thing to do. So we're gonna drop the minigun, the items there, and the shells, and the shotgun and the shells, and then we're going to keep the Magnum with us, and we're gonna have the red book as well too. So also another trick is that let's say if you like with the hand grenades, also. So let's say if you, like, use a hand grenade on a zombie, like, let's say if you use a dagger, actually, yeah, a dagger on a zombie, and you were able to counterattack them with a dagger, and you wanted the dagger back, then you would use a hand grenade in order to get the dagger back. So you will throw a hand grenade at the zombie's mouth, you will stay far away, obviously, and just let it blow itself up. Also, I actually found out that, you know, even though you're not playing at 20 FPS, you can actually move it a snidget and then move the collision, actually, right there, in order to get it to work like that on console. But, you know, you'll throw a hand grenade at the zombie's mouth and just straight up, after you use the dagger, and just wait for it to decapitate itself. Or you could just decapitate them and get the dagger back. But the trick of it is that you cannot leave the room. If you leave the room, the daggers will despawn, pretty much. Like if you decapitate, if you don't decapitate them or not, like, you know, you can't get the dagger back, pretty much. So it's not like Resident Evil 2, where like if you leave the room, or you basically just straight up decapitate the zombie, or you down the zombie, you can't get it back. Like, the difference is here is that it's like, if you decapitate them, then you can get the dagger back, but if you don't decapitate them, you can't get the dagger back. Or if you reset the room, you can't get it back, because they'll just disappear and despawn. So that's basically for, like, dagger resources. That's like a unique trick to know to get ammo resources. Pretty much just taking the Magnum for Plan 42. I actually messed up here, basically. I actually forgot that I was supposed to bring some health with me here, but I had this green herb here, so, you know, as a backup strategy, just take that green herb just there instead. But I was supposed to have a green herb for this next encounter with the sharks. I got tired of even fighting and resetting off of fighting the sharks here. I just straight up going ahead and dodge them. It doesn't really matter if they hit me or not. I honestly, it's like as long as I just straight up start through this room, try to avoid them as much as I can just avoid getting hit more than 20 times in a row of trying to shoot these sharks. Because dodging them can be a little bit more consistent. and just straight up shooting them. As long as you're not bumping into walls multiple times in a row, you're good to go. But sometimes shooting those sharks can kind of cause for multiple resets, honestly, personally. Because I had no success shooting those sharks like that at all, so dodging them is more consistent.
Locking all doors to achieve maximum safety. Reaching 30% of pressure threshold.
Also, the things that are being shown in this video, just do as I do here. So I put the shotgun away, basically, so I can get the assault shotgun here. Which is just assault shotgun. If you, save Richard in time, you can get his assault shotgun here instead. Which has a higher crit rate than the regular shotgun. Alright, so for Neptune or Yawn or whatever, so basically you could either A, electrocute the shark, or you could basically be a badass like I am and just straight up dodge the shark. Simple as that. Dodging the shark is like pretty easy here, personally. Pretty simple and easy, because, all I do is when I dodge that sharks, just use tank controls. I just usually use tank controls in order to dodge the shark. But, however, it's pretty easy to dodge the shark anyway. I can mess up that dodge probably like about, I say around, probably like 0% of the time, because it's like a very easy dodge, honestly. I think I've only fucked that dodge up once, and that's about it. Otherwise, I just never fucked up dodging shark, pretty much. The shark is like pretty easy to dodge. Cause like, it looks like a very scary window, but it's like pretty much a, like once you get used to it, it's like a simple window that you can dodge around. It's actually not too quite difficult. You just hold up and down the left and just go around it like that. But it will require practice, obviously, so. But reasonably, you should just electrocute the shark if you want. Gonna ignore all these stinky boys. We're just gonna get out of here, pick up the item we need there, just leave. So after you press yes and pick up the map, try not to match the confirm button if you're playing on Xbox One or PlayStation 4. Because if you're playing on Xbox One or PlayStation 4 and you mash the confirm button, then you'll accidentally examine in the hole. And if you examine in the hole, then, like, if you didn't press B or circle, then if you examine in the hole, then all of these are gonna fly out, and those fuckers are no bueno to deal with, so we don't want that. So after this, you're gonna saw the picture with a naked old lady, blah blah. Just get this over with. Ooh. Alright, so for Plant 42, Plant 42 is gonna be a quite a little tough to explain a little bit, but first things first, what I do here for No Death Run when I'm fighting Plant 42 is that I go all the way over here, is that I sit right over here in this position here, and by sitting in that position there, basically, I can cheese Plant 42 there, the Magnum, and I go for a couple shots, and when it closes its core, I go for another shot after the cutscene ends, basically. And then when it opens its core again, then I blast another shot, and then it's dead. And there you go, that's Plan 42. Simple as that. It's all about audio during this boss. You have to pay attention to the audio as much as you possibly can. Simple as that. It's all audio based with the boss battles in this game. Just pay attention to the audio as much as you can here. And by paying attention to the audio, you'll just basically get Plan 42 out of your way. Simple as that. It'll just be a piece of cake. It's such a goddamn joke without audio aim. It's just a straight up joke. Just sit by that position in the corner, you'll get him. You just gotta pay attention to the sound on if you're causing damage on it or you're missing your shots or not. But anyhow. But now that we're done with the Plant 42, we can head back to the safe room. We're now done with the guardhouse. We won't have to visit here until later on in the future. So we're gonna go back to the item box here and put away the items for the Magnum. Still make sure we have the Magnum inventory. Pick up the shotgun shells, and gonna make sure we have the guardhouse key and the minigun for some hunters later on. So coming out here for the dog, you gotta just kind of predict where he's gonna be at around this side area. He's gonna be sleeping, so as long as we're like quick enough, we can get him. And then for the second dog, it's like he's gonna just straight up jump. He likes to just jump a lot around the corner like an idiot. So if we're fast enough to get him like there, just get rid of him right off the bat. Fuck that asshole right out of the corner, pretty much. So he'll just straight up jump here and there, but if we're quick enough, we can get rid of him. Put the shotgun here, shoot around that corner, slant there, and then you'll get that second snake there. And by getting rid of that second snake, you just run around the corners here, and then just get out of here. Thank God that's the last time we have to deal with dogs for the rest of the game. But, the enemies that are going to be replacing dogs are going to be hunters, pretty much, so gotta be repair about them. Honestly, like, I think dogs are more worse than those goddamn asshole slurpers from Silent Hill 3. Like the dogs in this game are really not really well programmed. The way they go for gameplay design, but anyhow. All right, so after this, after the cutscene here, we're just gonna head straight for this door here. We're gonna go ahead and equip the minigun here, and basically have to aim our shots right here for the hunter right here. So when the hunter jumps down here, basically what I do here is that just like when he jumps, I blast him immediately, basically, and when I get the gauge of this distance, basically, I just go ahead and get rid of him like that. And then for the second hunter, the second hunter, you just gotta get lucky on shooting him immediately. He's just going to be either immediately near you, as much as possible. So you just gotta get ready for it when you hear him in his audio getting in closer. But you can see his drool here and there. And when you see his drool, you can get him as fast as you possibly can before he fucks your shit over. Nothing to discuss here. Just straight up, pick up the red book. That's pretty much all it. Subtle of all of it. It's all said and done. Dodging around all those spiders there. Then we're going to come over here. Go ahead and wax all these zombies here on the ground. Get rid of all these guys. Went ahead and just killed these guys. I kind of actually fucked up. I was not supposed to sit in some of these positions here, but I was supposed to go near the door. But because of a lot of contemplations of realizing that at first, I decided to just go ahead and wink it. And said fuck it, just straight up try to shoot these guys a little bit more. just go ahead and wax all those guys there. Just straight up get rid of them. Then we can just straight up come up in here and pick up the shotgun shells and the battery pack, the hand grenade. Then we can just straight up leave. After we do that. Also, I forgot to mention is that you have to have like 2 inventory slots open here. So hopefully you have like 2 inventory slots open, because we have to. Gonna visit outer box here again so we can free up inventory space again. Just throw the battery pack and the red herb. Just throw that all crap away. Battery packs, red book, da 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 da. Come back up here. Then we can just straight up unlock this room. Go into this room here. You know, even if you do go all the way close down the hallway, you know, those hunters actually, long story short, by the way, they don't actually supposed to fill up holes anyway at the walls, in the windows. They only do that if you're going for best ending. That's really about it. So you never encounter them, ever. Like, ever, pretty much. But, anywho. So, gonna pick up the yellow jewel here, because we needed to go save Joel. Then we're gonna go ahead and pick up the red jewel, because we needed to attach to continue on in the game. Same as per usual. Start through here. We don't have to worry about the hunters here. They're just being idiots. And also, by the way, yeah, I do use the Magnum on dogs a lot, but it does not mean I'm going to replicate on using it on hunters. This was a kill run, maybe, but however, because it's just gone for consistency and success rate, and plus I'd rather not fucking kill all enemies on invisible enemy mode. I'd rather just straight up not bother killing hunters. Hunters are pretty easy to dodge around. Just the only particular hunters I had to kill was just by the west side safe room. That's about it. And that source. So because of that, you know, I just didn't bother one bit at all fighting hunters like that, especially the fact that they're very difficult to fight and pretty annoying to gun down sometimes. So in that case, you know, I just straight up don't fight hunters like that. Because they're pretty easy to dodge, and they can seem a little bit less intimidating on some in certain encounters. You encounter them. It's just like, if you know what door you're getting to with hunters, they're pretty easy to dodge. Regardless if they're speedrun strats or not. Alright, so for Yawn, the way I choose Yawn here is pretty simple. Splash shotgun shells at it. But, try to get a little bit of shots here and there on towards Yawn when I shooting it pretty much, but have to be a little careful on the distance engaging on it. Of course, like an asshole, it got me here, but unfortunately I didn't get poisoned though during this boss. I was trying to run towards the other corner, but I decided to go for another shot. So, basically, I kind of messed up here and there during this boss, going for a second shot or so. But, luckily I didn't get poisoned, but, you know, it doesn't matter because I already have the blue herb anyway. I went for a second shot, even though I was not supposed to. I was supposed to run straight for the corner. But, so overall, I just straight up, just, whenever it comes to yawn, basically, it's like all auto, just like, you just gotta pay attention to the audio as much as you can during the boss, pretty much. But because I got lazy there, I decided to just go for more cheesing with the shotgun here. Even though, as a dumbass, I was not supposed to, so. But anyhow, so after we go ahead and kill Yon, we're pretty much like got like one more area to visit in the mansion. But in general, half of the boss battles in this game is more likely acquired from audio. That's more likely it for some of the boss battles in this game, is that they're more audio equivalent, pretty much. There's not much towards their design except audio. So if you pay attention to the audio a lot during the boss battles, and make sure you have good headphones, which I always play my games with headphones, always. But, you know, generally, it's like, it's hard to pay attention to the audio if you're just using it from base TV stream. So, especially the fact that the audio booths in this game are very, very well designed, and very well made. So it makes it pretty easy to tell where enemies at with the audio in this game. Especially with the enemy getting close, getting non-close, getting less close, and less collision close, and less collision detection with their audio. So certain FMVs are very well designed. Yeah, that hunter right there is just gonna swipe. Try to see if he can swipe your leg, but you're just holding up on the D-pad, you can just scoot right by him. Also, I forgot to mention, for those that keep axing, basically, in what control scheme I play with, do I play with tank, do I play with ult? The solution what I with control scheme I play with is ult and tank. I play with both, basically. Specifically having the analog stick be to ult, you can have the D-pad be to tank. So you have like basically both controls at once. They're always going to be the exact same 100% of the time. They're not going to be changeable control schemes. So if you set it to Alt controls, then the D-pad is not going to be Alt. So, and if you set it to tank controls, you know, the D-pad is still going to be Alt. I mean, the D-pad is still going to be tank controls. So D-pad on all control schemes are all tank controls. So, and the analog stick is the only thing that gets changed. That's about it. So that's basically like a lot of combinations I play with whenever I play this game. Plus, Plus, I don't actually know if it would be a good idea to play tank with an analog stick anyway. Be a good idea. Unless you're good at it, you're alright. But if you're not, then just stick with Alt. It's more consistent. And if you're like moving in a 45-degree angle, it's more likely better to use tank and D-pad. So you can position your movement, and when the camera angle changes, it won't fuck you over with tank controls and the D-pad. So coming back to the safe room here, I came this way on purpose, basically, so I can avoid the hunter. I went on ahead and took up the battery pack and the crank, so I can go on ahead and free up inventory space, just so I can go all the way go all the way back outside, because I'm like close to the area that I need to get to, which is the WB area. But that's personally what I play with whenever I play this game, just with those D-pad combinations to make things a little bit consistent, so I can learn my movement with enemies that way. So if in case I gotta run, I gotta make sure I'm quick enough on it, on my toes. So, pretty much not much to talk about, just trying to see if I can add in some commentary, I guess. But, yeah. Grab the crank from Enrico here, then we could just straight up leave. So for the hunters here, basically, what I do here to dodge hunters is just hug the wall. If you hug that wall, you can just dodge around the hunters 100% of the time as long as you're not bumping into walls so much. Occasionally, one of the other hunters will just randomly try to go see if they can go for a one-hit kill attack, like assholes. But, in general, when you deal with that, you gotta be, like, aware that, if you are taking the line, pretty much, like I said there, you can just dodge around them 100% of the time without avoiding any cause of momentum. Occasionally, sometimes, you know, you will have to go a lot of consultations that are pretty ridiculous to avoid. But anyhow. But it's a pretty easy room out of all the game, pretty much. It's not much of reasons to worry about getting hit so much. And it's simply just easy to deal with. There's just some shotgun shells in the corner, though, by the way, you can pick up if you want, which, by the way, are absolutely now useless for the rest of the game. Alright, so for Black Tiger, forgot how much ammo it takes for Black Tiger for it to die, but I go ahead and use the shotgun here because I use the mag rounds on plane 42. It do either two things, if it charge, it will spit acid or something like that, but as long as we're careful enough, we can. But as long as we're careful enough, we could just straight up just cheese Black Tiger, simple as that, and we just get around it. It takes like so many. I actually forgot how many shotgun shells it takes to kill it, but normally I reset the room here in order to avoid Black Tiger here, but just gotta straight up knife the webbings there because I already killed it already. Just nothing to worry about. But however, it's just it's like you gotta be careful as you're going right behind it if it does spit acid. Pretty much, it tends to spit acid a lot, but the good pattern with Black Tiger is more likely for you to get it to charge at you. You're better off it charging at you than spitting acid. But don't really worry about it because it's pretty easy to cheese Black Tiger. Black Tiger's pretty easy to deal with. Not much worrying for Black Tiger in some source. Not unless you get charged down by it as you're trying to predict where it is. But I just go right behind its core and try to get lucky and not get poisoned and stand by the wrong bad position that I'm not supposed to be standing at. Right here, just using some speedrun strats, just some quick little tricks, a little bit, I guess, so I can avoid this neon box so much. Save off on inventory space. Right here, we just push this 4 times in a row. Let's get this over with. Not much to this puzzle, it's a pretty easy base puzzle. same as usual, just straight up hug the wall once again, coming back in there. Like I said, they're just pretty easy to dodge. Just straight up, don't ever have to worry about them ever again. So for Lisa, pretty much here, just simple as ever to deal with Lisa, pretty much. We're just going to trigger that camera angle there, because by triggering that camera angle, Lisa teleports on which camera frame changed in the room. So because she teleports on which camera frame you changed in the room, you have to change the camera angle in different directions in order to get her to teleport different directions. By doing that, we can prevent her from clobbering the fuck out of us the second we pop right by her again. Climbing up here, there's some magnum rounds, some hand grenades, and some handgun bullets, some shotgun shells. Just gonna ignore the handgun bullets. There's no point in picking them up. The handgun, like I said, the handgun is like personally pretty useless in Rose invisible enemy mode, so we don't really need it like that. Trigger this camera angle here to get Lisa to teleport there instead. If we could just straight up run out the area, because we're now done with this whole session. On this path. Out of all the boss battles, what is like the worst? I say like out of all the boss battles in Invisible Enemy mode, that could be the worst is probably Black Tiger, because Black Tiger is a quite equivalent pain in the ass to deal with. Actually, Order Crimson maybe, but Black Tiger out of all of them is like probably more tough to deal with. More tough, actually. Alright, so what I gotten from last time in my last run is that I ran out of the room in order to get Lisa to go the other way, actually. Go the other position. But basically instead, there's a new different strategy I do here instead. On Invisible Enemy mode for Lisa, after I trigger that camera angle, I sit by the vault angle for a little bit, for like 3 seconds or so, and then I press it. And then I just basically run all the way over there and put the crank in there. And by doing that, you know, she'll just be far away anyway. So she's not going to randomly turn around and try to hit you or so. So she's not going to have any optimized, like, moments where she could just straight up hit you and cheese you. So she's going to be, like, far away in the position right there. And I actually also did find out that she also just doesn't even bother attacking you anyway, so... She acts like she actually attacks you. That's why you hear the swing attacks. Like, she'll swing in the air. That'll be it. She'll just swing in the air. That's about it. She's not even swinging side to side. She's not even going to attack you, so even if you hear the sound, she's not even going to bother hitting you. Not unless, I guess, if she spins her black... like, her black tentacles from the back at you. That's basically it. That's, like, the only time I can see her hitting you. But I'm pretty sure she only does that during the boss battle later on. I don't know. Maybe she does do it. I don't know. Just use the Jill strat, I guess, if you don't feel too confident, but just you could use that strat in case. A little bit quicker than just going to reset the door, taking a long time. But anyhow. Also, that zombie right there, he's just normally going to be looking at the railing, basically. You don't even have to worry about him so much. Sometimes, occasionally, you might have to, if he turns around at you, but, you know, he's normally not needed to worry about, because he's pretty harmless. Same thing with these guys. These guys only spawn after we get out of the WB area. They're not nothing to worry about, they're pretty easy to dodge around. The developers thought on hardcore these guys would be more harder to dodge around, which they're not. But, you know, that's just pretty much it for the whole guardhouse. We can just straight up leave. We're done here. Back to the mansion. Pick up this puzzle piece. Connect. And we're out. We're not going back there ever again. So we're good for the rest of the game. Decided to just reload the shotgun shells here so we can go see Rebecca. And coming over here. Hunter to the south. Just ignore him. He's just being a dum-dum. Just head straight for the door. The faster you are, the faster you can just avoid him. Like, because he's just going to be an idiot, trying to attack you. But if you're quick enough, you can just ignore him. There's shotgun shells in this box, by the way, but like I said earlier, they're absolutely, by the way, gonna be like useless for the rest of the game, because the only time we're gonna use the shotgun is just straight up on. Wait, did I actually use the shotgun once in the lab? No, we only used the Magnum. That's it. We're just gonna be using the Magnum, basically. That's what I just kept in my inventory, but anyhow. After the cutscene there, if you have to go save Rebecca, if you have like probably 2 minutes or so to save Rebecca, that's the main reason why I clear out the hunters here in this west side area and the zombies here. Because that way they won't get in my way as I'm hitting straight for the door, and hitting straight for this door as well too, because some of them like to block my way immediately right around this door here. It normally takes like a Magnum to kill this hunter though, but you know, just takes like 1 Magnum bullet, but it just takes like 3 shotgun shells or so. So just aim your shots. And he's dead. Just keep aiming off camera. And then there you go. Got the hunter. We got rid of him. Got rid of the issue and the problem. Now we're done with the mansion. We're finally done. We're out of here. Now we can go all the way back to the main hall. And we can just straight up get rid of the last puzzle solution to the wind quest here. We can end the spooky adventure by going down here. Go fighting you, Lisa. Lisa, sort of, like, because you can't really see her, obviously, she's gonna be more tough. You have to pay attention to the audio during this boss, and it's gonna be more frustrating a little bit to gauge her distance on how close she is to you. So, if you are going to do this with saves, I would definitely recommend it for sure. It would definitely be very worthwhile just saving here. And then just straight up going on and making a save here. That's most likely what I recommend. I recommend it due to the fact that Lisa is equivalent here and not always consistent to deal with. This. But alright. So for right here in a no save no death run, well, just a no death run in general, I push this one here first, basically. And she normally jumps the second I start pushing it up right there, but sometimes she likes to just straight up not jump. And she'll just be right over here. Wesker got a hard stun on Lisa there. And she went like all over the place, I have no idea. And then she spawned there. And she spawned right there in my side of the way. And Wesker got her... Wow, Wesker actually got a little bit of a better stun here during this boss. He actually helped out this time instead of being a jackass. Wesker got some good ass stun here with his handgun actually. And I was able to push the dressers here and got lucky. And I didn't get clobbered to death. I just gotta stay away we just gotta stay away from the edge a lot, pretty much. Just stay away from the edges, pretty much, so you could just avoid... If she hits you, make sure you're not close to the edge, because if you get hit, you'll bundle it, and the run is over, pretty much. So the second she starts jumping, the second you need to be quite aware on where you need to be at, because you absolutely do not want to fuck that shit over. Fuck that shit up, and just straight up, sit in a bad position, like being right next to the edge. It's gonna be like a lot tough, but you gotta pay attention to the audio during this boss, and just more likely just pay attention to where the hell Lisa is at, pretty much. And just stay away from the edges so she doesn't randomly punch you and you fall off. Just the second you start pushing something and you hear a jump sound, like a sound or whatever, just straight up start moving, making a run for it. But I followed all the areas in Chris's run, comparing it to Jill's. I think that area is a little bit less of a atrocious pain in the ass. Because as Jill, normally I have to kill Lisa there in order to knock her down from her cheesing me. Because sometimes Jill's run actually requires more RNG. Because sometimes she likes to go near Barry, she likes to go near you. It's not always consistent to deal with. Alright. So, grab the Conceptate and the mode disc, kind of the box there, and then we're going to trade off for all the med sprays. We did get hit by Lisa. But then we're going to use a hand grenade here to go ahead and kill the Zomzom. I just go ahead and be careful here. Try not to get back grab. Try to pay attention to the audio a little bit more. Trying to check where all the other Zomzoms are at. You can see in that river puddle there that that's the zombie, and that's where he's at. I'm trying to let him grab me, so I can use a hand grenade on him. To get rid of him. I just go ahead and go for the kills on these guys and get rid of them with a hand grenade. just throw hand grenade after hand grenade on these guys here. Same thing goes for this guy. Like, if I got hand grenades to spare, that's basically what I do here. But, because that guy blocked my collision box for some weird reason, and because the zombies in this game have push priorities, I was not able to pass around that guy. So, he decided to just go on ahead and block me as much as he can just so I can get around him. Well, joke's on him. I wasn't on danger caution mode, so nice try, bitch. But anyhow, solution to this puzzle, you know, same as same old John Ada, pretty much. In order to get the solution password here, so we're gonna put it in cell C-A-C-L C-A. I mean, not C-A. I meant to say C-E-L-L, pretty much. And then the second password is free, pretty much. Like, it's literally free. And then there's some magic rounds there. Pick them up. I actually don't know what happened here. I guess I messed up with my analog stick and I went the wrong direction. But, that was like by accident. But, anyhow. Just gonna go this way again. Go all the way back up here. Zom's here. He's getting hand grenade for dinner tonight as well, too. No. My grenades are delicious, aren't they? Delicioso. So we can just pick up that med spray there so we can heal ourselves. Then I fucked up the solution to this puzzle. I have, like, no idea why, basically. But, solution to this is just 8-4-6-2. Just gonna ignore the shock shells, because there's no point picking them up. We're good to go. We you know, the Magnum's just gonna be a lifesaver for the rest of the game here. It's just gonna be very unsafe using the shotgun at this point of the game. Especially the fact there's not gonna be any enemies that we have to save Magnum rounds for anyway. Unlocking this, so we can go all the way up here. Just gonna unlock that so we can go all the way up here, so we can go, go all the way over here. And go, use the cassette update here so we can go save Jill later on the way out. Ignore the Chimera in here. He's just straight up gonna miss. Jump down here. Leave. Alright, so for the Zomzom here, either I'm going to let him throw up on me, or I'm going to let him, like, straight up use the Magnum on him, or I'm just going to use a hand grenade on him. And I went for a hand grenade. And I try to wait a couple seconds so I can make sure he's on the stairs, and then let him go down the stairs and throw a hand grenade in his mouth. Something coming up in here. Chimera. Got one hand grenade left, so you gotta make this count for him. So, the Chimera in here failed to react, and he decided to... I was hoping for him to grab, but he decided to not go on the ceiling that time, so I had to reset the room here. And hope for the best this asshole does not decide to be a dick. Fucker. But, in general, normally he jumps immediately the second I start shooting him, so I was hoping at that time I can just straight up get him without less constant momentum. But those are like the only enemies we have to kill pretty much at this point here. We're done. We just grab the nitroglycerin and we can just straight up go. Vinrati. We're done. Thank God I forgot that resetting the room does things in this game. Unlike Resident Evil 0. So, there's Mag around there. Let the Zamzam grab us. Give him a grenade for dinner tonight. And then we're going to run all the way over here. Just use the cassette tape. We're not going to use the full nitroglycerin yet. Basically, we're going to wait for this guy to blow his head up. By waiting for that, we can just straight up wait patiently for him to die. Because if he hits me with his hand grenade on the way out, as I have full nitroglycerin, I am going to die. Like, literally will fucking die. So, either use the magnum on him, or just straight up just don't even bother. Don't even, like, bother in the slightest chance of just straight up, waiting for him to just straight up go on ahead and fighting him. So after that, we could just straight up grab the nitroglycerin after he dies and just straight up start walking. If this was a speed run, normally what I would do, like, to hurry this up is just run, like, 5 steps and walk 3 steps. And if I was playing on hardcore, I would have just straight up, like, run, like, 3 steps and walk 2 steps or so. But because this is not a speed run, I don't actually have to run. I can just straight up walk the whole time until I get to the whole room here with the nitroglycerin. And we're straight up done. So long as we clear every enemy that is fucking annoying out of our way, we're good to go. Alright, so now we're done. Straight up leave. Gonna use the cassette tape here so we can go use this for Jill later on. And squeeze right by that Chimera. Chimeras are normally easy to dodge, basically. They're just normally easy to dodge. There's one of them that are just aggressive and annoying as hell to deal with. Which is the such guy I first tried to shot. But they're pretty easy to dodge. Their collision boxes and their frame hits are quite late on the detection hit. The hit detection causes it to be so late. And because it's like so late or so, you know. Let sleeping dogs fly, they're pretty easy to dodge. Just like hunters are. It's like, as long as you're fast enough, you're getting to room, you can just avoid them altogether. Alright, so after we go on ahead and turn on the button there, now we can activate the elevator. I have a higher chance of completing this boss without having to use a med spray during the boss, but I still have a higher chance of just failing during this boss, so I go on ahead and pick up the med spray. And also, no, I don't want shotgun shells, I just want all the mag rounds I can get. Thanks, game. I just want the med spray, not the shotgun shells. I need health.
Chris!
Also, yeah, we're skipping cutscenes, by the way, in this run. I forgot to mention that. We're not watching cutscenes, also, because, you know, like, this is not the regular game mode, basically, where we're just watching through cutscenes and stuff. I already have cutscenes played, there's no point in playing cutscenes. We'll just be watching awkward cutscenes anyway, so it wouldn't really make sense to just do that on invisible enemy mode. Anyhow. Alright, so Super Tyrant here. It's pretty easy to deal with. Just straight up put the mag gun here, and just straight up shoot him right there at his distance in his collision box there. I'm just gonna sit right here in this position here, and I'll take like those magnum bullets, put him on pretty much, and then he's dead. Then we can just straight up leave.
Chris!
Then after that, after we're done fighting Super Tyrant, pretty much, it's a pretty easy boss, just basically use the magnum, pretty much. You could use the shotgun, but because I don't feel like waiting, you just straight up use the magnum anyway. Plus it's more safer. It's pretty safe that way. This is pretty much enough magnum rounds, I should say, for the final fight with Super Tyrant as well too, to get Brad to drop the locker launcher, but I went for the weight strat in this run, specifically because of how insanely dangerous that would be doing the fast strat. So I went for the weight strat on the Super Tyrant on the heliport. So, we're gonna just go save Jill. I guess I should start explaining a little bit more about the weight strat, the way it works. Basically, all I do for the weight strat that is just so simple is just wait until the timer winds down to 45 seconds, and then I start the fight. Like, I literally start the fight around, like, 45 seconds or so, and then, like, basically go on ahead and just straight up, like, I start the fight around that time, and just straight up, completely just start having the game, the fight start around that time, pretty much, and that's about it. But, however, though, it's like, you know, it's like the way fighting Super Tyrant is, it's like pretty easy. But, it's like there's like way patterns you can get with this fight to happen, is that there's like two patterns during this fight, basically, that can happen, basically. So, after 45 seconds, when we start to fight, Brad will drop the locker launcher around 35 seconds. No, not 35 seconds. 30 seconds or so. He'll drop the locker launcher around 30 seconds. So, basically, because he'll drop the locker launcher around 35 seconds or so, we'll basically start the fight, like, we'll basically, during the fight, have to deal with, like, two patterns or so. One pattern is quite hard to deal with. So, you know, give me a second to, like, figure out how this is really gonna go with the bat pattern, but, okay, so one thing we want to happen during the fight is Super Tyrant has to hit Rebecca, right? We want the pattern where he just straight up hits Rebecca, not punches, not grabs Rebecca. We want the good pattern. We have him hit Rebecca during the fight, and we do not attack him not one bit at all after 45 seconds we started. Then he'll basically just straight up, the run will be completed, basically, because if we get the good pattern in him just attacking Rebecca... Okay, I think I explained this in a bad way. Okay, let me try to explain this again, where this all makes sense, because I think... I'm kind of getting distracted over the music, audio sound here, so, alright, let me re-explain this again. So after we start the fight around 45 seconds, and when Brad drops the locker launcher around 30 seconds, here's how the good pattern can happen and why we want the good pattern. So we can avoid shooting Super Tyrant. So if we get the good pattern, then what would happen is Super Tyrant will run towards Rebecca and he'll punch Rebecca. And if we do not shoot him, if he hits Rebecca, we do not shoot him. If he hits Rebecca and punches her and throws her across the room, we do not shoot him at all. Like, absolutely at all. But if we wait for the timer to rewind, after he hits Rebecca, he's gonna punch her around the room, do that type of sorts. Rebecca's not gonna die as long as once the 30-second timer drops down, we grab the locker launcher and we're standing around the heliport locker launcher sound when Brad drops the locker launcher. We could just basically attack where Super Tyrant is by tracking where the blood that he punched Rebecca at, and track him by the blood. Sometimes Rebecca will shoot him and help you out there, but the blood showing what Super Tyrant is, but, you know, Rebecca's blood will show us around the room where he's at. Rebecca's not gonna die, as long as he doesn't hit her more than 2 times. Rebecca has, little HP. And by doing that and protecting him, and we could just straight up use the locker launcher on him and he'll die. The bad pattern is him grabbing Rebecca. If he grabs Rebecca, we'll get the bad pattern, and we'll have to wait. If he grabs Rebecca, what I normally do for the bad pattern, in order to just get insanely lucky to pray for the love of God we can fight him, is I wait until the timer hits 35 seconds. No, not 35 seconds, 37 seconds. And then I start shooting him. And then he drops Rebecca, and then I'll stand my ground and sit by the area where Brad will drop the locker launcher after he drops Rebecca down. And then I'll just straight up pick up the locker launcher, let him hit me, and I'll fly across the room, turn around, use the headbutt spray, then use the locker launcher, and then bam, I'll get him. If not, then it's all going to be luck-based, just predict where he's going to be at. I'm pretty sure I probably got the bad pattern or something or so, but it's all, luck-based overall. We just want the good pattern, honestly, during this fight. It's all RNG. So, yeah. So it's kind of a scary fight a little bit if he grabs her. So, yeah. So, Brad would drop the lock launcher in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Actually, no. We'll start the fight around that time, but he'll drop it in 30 seconds. So, gotta just hope for the best. And he grabbed Rebecca. So I shoot him right around here. And then, Brad's gonna drop the locker launcher. And then I'm going to pick up the locker launcher, now that I got the bad pattern, basically. And I'm going to let Super Tyrant hit me all the way across the room. Or probably just shoot him. Actually, never mind. Actually, never mind. But, however, you just gotta get lucky here and blast him with a rock launcher, and bam, he's dead. And that is how you reflect from the bad pattern, basically. But the good pattern, if you get the good pattern, the run has been completed. Just don't shoot him after if he punches Rebecca, just do not shoot him at all, pretty much. But that's how you get the bad. That's how you deal with the bad pattern if you get it. It's just around 37 seconds. Is around when I shoot him, and then I pick up the locker launcher and stand around the heliport and just hit him, and then there you go. That is how you get the good. That is how you deflect the bad pattern. Pretty risky and pretty dangerous and scary. So yeah, pretty much that's basically it. That is my no save, no death run of Invisible Enemy mode of Resident Evil HD Remaster on Invisible Enemy mode. So I got insanely lucky during the last parts of this run and the second parts, and we got best ending in the process of this run, so Jill and Rebecca and Chris survived. We have completed the run. Bam, thank you, ma'am. So basically, In my Joe run, I show how you can get the good pattern, and this run here is where you can get the bad pattern. So all both differences are shown in this runs. So, yeah. That is going to do for this run here. If you enjoy this run, make sure give this video a big fat like. Also, check me on my socials. My socials are Snapchat and Twitter. My Twitter is more likely just for puzzle solutions, so if you need help with puzzles, then follow me on there, and I'll help you out with puzzles, basically, for games like this. So if there was a puzzle problem, and you could just send me a tweet, or you could just look at my tweets and videos, and you'll see my puzzle solutions there to solve some puzzles. Still working on that at the moment. Follow me on my Snapchat as well too. If you have Snapchat as well too, follow me on there. Link on the pinned comment about what it's about this channel. Basically, you can look at what it's about, and you'll get the pin number pretty much, and my Snapchat name and my Twitter name. Follow me and my friend Josh and Red on there pretty much. That is where I'm more active on, is Snapchat and Twitter. Well, I'm more likely active on Snapchat, that's about it. So yeah. Also, if you enjoyed this video, give this video a big fat like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell like it's a fucking dumbbell. And I'll see you all next time. Deuces.
Chris, you did a fine job.
Man, I like this picture. Chris just jumping over here like the badass he is with the Veronica costume on. I like this. No saves at all. So because this is like the hardest challenge in Resident Evil, by the way, there is a message from the developer, by the way, as an Easter egg to end off the game pretty much with, if you've completed Invisible Enemy Mode. In the credits, pretty much. This is like a whole, like, dialogue sequence where he's appreciating the player, pretty much. I've given the English version to this letter, pretty much, on my Joel's run, so make sure you go check that out so you can get the English version. I already explained. I tried my best to explain it in the English way, basically, on what he's saying. So this is the developer, Shimi Yokami. Basically, I hope I get the name right. The developer, the director of the game, as well too. And here's some like files and, like, you know, just like pictures and stuff like that of director's cut costumes as well too. That could have been in director's cut. I really wish this costume was in director's cut. And Jill's share code. That was already added in. Director's cut. And, you know, Sensei Jill. And Cowgirl Jill. Cowboy Jill. And Cowboy Night Out of Town Jill. Then we got Rebecca. Alternate version of Rebecca's Jill's costume. Just like, oh, and the Code Veronica costume right here as well too. Some of these costumes as well too. And basically that's about it. So yeah, that's it. So pretty much hope you enjoyed the run. See you all next time.